Привет! Niki from Russia is here, and this is Coffee Talk series where we talk about traveling, Russia, living in Russia, and such kind of stuff. We are going to talk about living in two biggest cities in Russia. Saint Petersburg, where I am staying right now. I've been living there for half a year already. And Ellie is staying in Moscow. Let's get our coffee ready.
Yeah, let's make some coffee.
Home coffee at Russian kitchen, by the way. Russian kitchen is right here. Well guys, coffee's here. Thank you so much, Ellie, for coffee.
We have ice Italian latte here.
Ice Italian latte made somewhere in Moscow in Russia. That's wonderful. Cheers. You know, I'm coming from Siberia, from city of Omsk, which is like much smaller than Moscow and Saint Petersburg. How about you?
I'm also not from Moscow. I moved here 7 years ago.
Wow.
And I was born and raised back in Perm, which is a city in the mid-Ural Mountains. How far is Omsk from Moscow?
It's like 3,000 kilometers. So you gotta take a flight for 3 hours, maybe a bit longer.
And if you go by train?
If you go by train, in my childhood it was 3 days, but now trains got a bit faster. It's like 2 days and a half, maybe 2 days. So the main question for today's video for you: Moscow or Saint Petersburg?
Moscow. Of course,
Ask me
Moscow.
the same question.
What about you?
Saint Petersburg, of course, Saint Petersburg. What Moscow is all about and what Saint Petersburg is all about.
So Moscow is the capital, so all the opportunities are here. If you're looking for the best education, the best career opportunities, you go to Moscow. So when I was choosing the university, back when I lived in that small town of Perm, I only had one choice, and it was Moscow.
You think that it's good for your future?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Future, and I think everything here is so convenient, like metro, the public transportation, and you can fly to any country without changing your flight. I think that many flights from St. Petersburg, they will go through Moscow.
Yes.
Yeah, so from Moscow you can go to any other country.
What about St. Petersburg?
St. Petersburg, okay, I went to St. Petersburg several times, and I would say that it's a city for a weekend. It's a nice city for a weekend because it's so beautiful, it's very calm. When you come to Moscow, you will see that it's very busy, people always do something, always so many events. And when you go to St. Petersburg, life is super slow there. So you go there for a weekend, you walk nearby, you walk at Nevsky Prospect and look at these beautiful buildings, but then you go back to Moscow and you work and you grow. For me, it's like this.
What Eddie said is it's true. I also share these opinions that Moscow is more goal-oriented, more money-oriented. It's the financial capital of Russia. All money from the entire country, they go to Moscow. Meanwhile, St. Petersburg is being chill, calm down, a very slow city.
St. Petersburg is also a big city of Russia, but all the money are in Moscow, and you can see that how much is invested here.
Life in Moscow is more convenient.
Yeah,
I agree that Moscow is more developed city than St. Petersburg. Meanwhile, I still choose St. Petersburg because it's slow, it's very calm, it's very relaxed, and I want to see my daily life is more relaxed and less being in a hurry, doing all this stuff around. Surrounded by
we have
people,
a joke here in Moscow, I don't know if you've heard it, that if you go to the metro in St. Petersburg, when they say the doors are closing, when they say that, you have time to take a bath, to read a newspaper, to check out news on your phone, and then you can slowly start walking towards the doors, and then they will be closing. Because people from Moscow say that everything is so slow in St. Petersburg. I love St. Petersburg, but for me, it's like a city for a weekend.
How much money do you need to have a decent, comfortable life in Moscow?
That's a tough question because I don't have to pay for renting an apartment, which would be very expensive in Moscow. I think that even if you live far from the city center, it would cost you around 30,000 rubles.
Like for one bedroom apartment?
Yes, for one person. If you share your apartment with someone, it would be probably 15,000-20,000 rubles.
And
That's
it's again far away from the city center.
Not far away, but not in the city center. Maybe 15 to 20 minutes from the city center. I would say that's the cheapest price. If you want to rent some good place, it would be 40,000-50,000 rubles, something like that. What about St. Petersburg?
In St. Petersburg, so it's generally cheaper than in Moscow, of course. If you have like $200 or 15,000 rubles, you can get yourself a really nice one bedroom apartment somewhere far away from city, like far away, but not as far as it could be in Moscow. If you have like 20,000 rubles, that apartment will be well furnished, like with everything good inside. If you have anything above 25,000 rubles, or that's like $350, then you'll have really nice apartments in the downtown.
That's very cheap comparing to Moscow. And Moscow is the most expensive city in Russia for renting. I think that groceries cost the same in all the cities of Russia, to be honest. When you go shopping for groceries, we have even the same chains of supermarkets like Petersburg, Перекресток, all this stuff.
There.
So even in Moscow, that could be Moscow, that could be Omsk, that could be Perm. If you go to the same chain of supermarkets, the prices are the same. So I wouldn't say that in Moscow you have to spend a lot on food, but if you go to cafes and restaurants, Moscow is also more expensive than other cities, and I noticed that when I compared Moscow to, for example, Perm, their prices are much cheaper, and I believe in St. Petersburg as well.
So, in my experience, I agree about grocery shopping. Like, whatever place you are staying in Russia, unless it's like a really small town or a village, if you're staying in a city, you have more or less the same chains, like you mentioned, Petersburg, that is like low-end pricing.
I think that's the cheapest.
It's one of the cheapest. Yeah. Then we have something like Перекресток supermarket, which is a solid average, like more or less. And we have supermarkets like Вкусвилл or Азбука Вкуса, which is more expensive.
Is only in St. Petersburg and Moscow, I think.
Really? Oh yes, yeah. In Omsk we don't have Вкусвилл.
Yeah, Вкусвилл
it's like smaller one.
The shop for healthy foods, but yeah, they want to grow for nationally, but now they're only in Moscow and St. Petersburg.
Yeah, so for groceries, people generally spend more or less the same amount of money in Moscow and St. Petersburg. But if you go out for having like lunch or dinner in restaurants, in Moscow there are a lot of really cheap options, in St. Petersburg as well. But if you go to a medium range restaurant, then it will be slightly more expensive in Moscow because they need to pay rent, they need to pay higher salaries and like that. But I don't think the difference is that high.
But for an average cafe, I think St. Petersburg would be cheaper anyways. And
maybe.
For example, bars, I know that St. Petersburg is famous for cheap bars and cheaper alcohol than in Moscow.
Well, how much is like a pint of beer in Moscow?
I don't know actually the prices for alcohol because I'm not really into that, but I know that St. Petersburg is famous for that, and my friends would go there for weekends to get drunk.
After groceries, what else do you spend money for?
Let's say museums, different events.
Entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining, and that depends on your hobbies and interests. But in Moscow and other cities, I think the museums are pretty much the same, of the same cost. But in Moscow, I think there's a huge a variety of places where you can go, and the exhibitions will change all the time. So there is always somewhere to go in Moscow. You can go to museums every day for your whole life, and you will always find new places, new exhibitions, new festivals and other events.
Well, I think it's also fair for St. Petersburg, like exactly the same opinion. And that's actually why St. Petersburg and Moscow life might be more expensive than life in other cities in Russia. Like in Perm, you might spend same amount of money for groceries as in Moscow, but for entertainment, you'll spend much less because there's nothing to do. Like there is something to do, but not as many activities, things, places to go as in capitals. Well, a question to you, Ellie. What is the last fun activity you did, and how much was that?
I think I went for subsurfing. Do you know when you stand on this board? And it costed 2,000 rubles for, I don't remember, 2 or 3 hours.
Nice, like per person or for 2 people?
For one person.
One person. Okay, for me it looks like a bit too expensive for St. Petersburg. I guess it will be cheaper, though I don't know how much is it there. My last fun activity was going to a museum.
Sorry, I'm gonna
that's fine.
switch off my phone.
So, my last fun activity was going to a museum. It was Manege Museum near Isaac Cathedral. They change exhibition every couple of months, and they do like really futuristic modern art. It was cool. One ticket per person cost 300 rubles. Like it's every single time it's 300 rubles.
Here I went to the new Tretikov gallery, and there are always different exhibitions. So I went to this one of the Soviet artists, and it costed me 250 rubles. But because I had the student ticket.
You have a student ticket? How?
Because I do a master degree.
Okay, that's good to be a student.
And I think that if you weren't a student, it would cost 400 rubles or something.
Well, so we talk about expenses in general. How about I just pick like 5 random things and you say price in Moscow, usually what you pay for it, and then I name price I pay for it in St. Petersburg.
Okay.
Okay, a bag of milk, like 1 liter of milk.
60 rubles.
60-70 rubles, so it's like a bit less than $1.
White bread.
I have breads for about 30 to 40 rubles at bakeries, not in supermarkets, and it's good quality.
I would say 60 or 70 rubles, but actually it's not white as well. I'm gonna show it to you.
Oh, Russian bread, okay, go for it.
Yes. Guys, when you're in Russia, try black bread. It's so good.
One coffee to go.
So it depends on where you have this coffee. We have this coffee fix, I think, which is 60 rubles.
Same in St. Petersburg.
And on average 200 till 400, 500.
That's a lot actually. We also have coffees and coffee likes stores for like 60 rubles for 0.2 liters, 100 or 120 rubles for double size. And normal coffee shops where you can sit and chill and enjoy the atmosphere would cost you about 150 to 200 rubles per normal cup of coffee.
Wow, that's really cheap. For Moscow, that's really cheap. I think that people spend enormous sums of money on coffee in Moscow.
Okay, what if you want to go to a movie? How much is a movie ticket?
From 150 rubles, a very good deal, until 700 rubles, I would say.
Okay, in St. Petersburg, the cheapest one I tried is like 100 rubles, which is 1.5 American dollars. It's in the morning, not really convenient time.
Yes.
Typically, I spend 150 and 200 rubles, and I can get a ticket to like any time I want. And if I go to a really good movie somewhere in the downtown, in a shopping mall, that will cost like 350 rubles per ticket.
Are there many cinemas in St. Petersburg where you can watch movies in English?
Yes, there are actually many of them.
Yeah, also many of them in Moscow.
That's really cool, actually. Okay, you name the last thing.
Breakfast at a cafe. Whole breakfast.
Okay. I just had such breakfast yesterday. at a Teремok cafe, which is Russian fast food restaurant, and there were options for $2.5, for $3 and $3.5. I choose the last one, 270 rubles, and I got quite a lot of food, and I got like really full. How about here in Moscow?
Wow. So here you can have it from 300 rubles, and there is no limit, I think.
You mean breakfast, not lunch?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's expensive.
For example, I went to this breakfast cafe, and for 300 rubles they gave me cappuccino, orange juice, huge croissant, and oatmeal with berries. But for Moscow it's really cheap.
Well, sounds good actually, but a bit too expensive. Now I have another question. If you can choose one thing to say about Moscow which you like very very much, like the most, and one that you dislike very much, what are two things?
What I like the most, Moscow never sleeps, and you can find anything to do or any services are available 24/7. So you want to order some food, you can do that at midnight, you can do that in the middle of the night. Then you can go in the streets, you will find pharmacies that are open 24/7, grocery shops, and which is surprising, flower shops, and many places are open 24/7. So yeah, the thing that I like about Moscow is how convenient it is to live here and the high level of living standard and services. One thing that I don't like would be probably climate in the winter. And it's not about the cold, but it's about grayness. So in Moscow during winter, it's pretty depressive here because the sky is gray, the buildings are gray, and no sun. So you don't want to go outside. You don't even want to look in the window. It's so awful.
And if talking about St. Petersburg in same terms about the best and the worst thing, in my opinion, the best is the aesthetic of the city itself, like the downtown and even the outskirts of St. Petersburg, sometimes outskirts, mostly downtown, look like a museum. Like you just go to the city center, you look around,
That's
and
true.
at least I start feeling much better than I did like a minute ago before looking at the city. I really like taking a cup of coffee, going somewhere to like a city park or strolling along the streets. That's really cool. That's my favorite part about St. Petersburg. And the worst part is the convenience in transportation. Like one thing about transportation is that it's not easy to fly somewhere from St. Petersburg directly. Let's say I'm going to Turkey in a week, to Istanbul, and there are flights from Moscow. You can take it for like 6,000 rubles without luggage. From St. Petersburg, you either pay like 7,000 and you have a layover in Moscow, or you pay double price and you have a direct flight. So it's like really much more expensive, double price. Same to many other destinations. And if from St. Petersburg to Istanbul it's possible to take a direct flight, some destinations there's like no direct flights at all. You have to go to Moscow and then only take a flight. Ellie, that was interesting talk. I really enjoyed it. I hope you too. I hope you too. You can check out Ellie's account, Ellie's YouTube channel. She makes really cool videos about Russia. It's my favorite playlist. The series of videos where she explains a Russian cultural theme, like really good.
Yeah, I decided to make these videos about Russian culture because there isn't that much content about it. Actually, I didn't find any, so that's why I decided to create that videos. And those are kind of things that you would never find on Google. And I also make interviews with Russians in the streets, so to show the perspective of usual people living in different parts of Russia, and not only in Moscow and St. Petersburg, but also in the remote places of our country. So yeah, I would be happy to see you on my channel as well.
Well, let me know guys what you think, Moscow or St. Petersburg, where would you like to stay for longer time, and see you next video. Пока!
Yes!